Hello and welcome back to Rise for the Prize. This is episode 3. It's been a while. It's been a couple weeks. We're finally back. Started school a couple weeks ago around the 18th, 17th of January. Now the 30th of January right now. Nice Monday. Can be a good start to the week. But yeah, sometimes you got other things you got to do. Obviously, I leave my podcast set up at home when I'm at school. So I come home on the weekends, bang out a couple podcasts, and then upload them. Or eventually we'll upload them. This one will be going up tonight, Monday, January 30th. So we're going to get into it a little bit right now. We're going to be talking about the NFL or football in general. Boxing we'll move on to as well. And then we'll finish off with the NBA. The All-Star game's approaching. There was a big missed call in the NBA a couple nights ago. I'm a Celtics fan, but there was a big missed call during that game that we'll get into. Obviously, a lot of you guys already probably know what happened, but we're going to get into that shortly. But yeah, we're back. Uploading Monday, Friday. We might stick to once a week right now. Might go 2. We'll see where it takes us. But yeah, AFC Championship, the NFC Championship games were last night. You see the Chiefs beat the Bengals. And to talk about that game first before we get into the NFC Championship game, because the NFC Championship game was honestly it was just a blowout. But the AFC Championship game, there was a lot of missed calls that we saw. Honestly, a lot of people are saying that's the worst officiated game they've ever seen in football. Never mind a playoff game. We saw a lot of missed calls that should have been on the Chiefs. A lot of roughing the passer calls that were missed on Burrow. We see that big play at the end of the game as well. Joseph Asai had a roughing the passer call on Mahomes that literally pretty much sent the Chiefs to the Super Bowl. The Chiefs had the ball like 10 seconds left in the game. Mahomes rushed. I forget where they were at the time. They were deep, though. They were out of field goal range. And Joseph Asai and the Bengals pretty much pushed Mahomes out of bounds, got a roughing the passer, and that pushed the Chiefs 15 yards closer, which set up a 45-yard field goal. Now, if this penalty never occurred, the Chiefs would have been set up for a 60-yard field goal to win the game. Harrison Butker, that would have been a tough, much tougher field goal, especially to go to the Super Bowl on the line. The nerves are going, but it literally put him in field goal range. We saw Joseph Asai after the game, crying on the bench. I mean, it sucked because he really technically single-handedly cost the Bengals that game. But there was overall a lot of missed calls. But those calls are in the past, obviously. They don't matter anymore. It was a very bad officiated game. It was a close game as well, though, which kept it interesting. I'm surprised it wasn't a blowout because the Bengals are getting screwed by the refs pretty much the entire game. The refs are on the Chiefs' side. I know it's a controversial topic, but, everybody knows this. Everybody saw the Bengals were getting screwed. But I'm glad they kept it close. I wanted, personally, the Bengals to win and move on to the Super Bowl. I'd love to see them beat the Chiefs back-to-back years in Arrowhead. We saw the Bengals walking into Arrowhead calling it Burrowhead. We saw the Cincinnati mayor even talking about I think he was the first one who actually created the term Burrowhead. I'm not really sure. It might have been the players, might have been the mayor, but yeah, the mayor was talking about how the Bengals are going to go into Burrowhead and essentially win the game and move on to the Super Bowl. Obviously, that didn't happen. We saw that. It was a 23-20 game, very close. I thought it was going to end up going into overtime. Late in the game, the Bengals had the ball. It was a 3rd and 16. I believe it was at like the 5 or the 10. It was a 3rd and 16. It was like a minute and a half to play. You knew if the Bengals gave up the ball at that point, it would have been way too much time for Mahomes to run down the field. Joey Burrow converted on a 3rd and 16. I think he passed it to Hayden Hurst. He was wide open, and that set him up. They were 1st and 10 after that, and then just went 3 and out. I think it was, they 3 and out or a pick. I forget, but it was bad. Chiefs got the ball after that. They ran the punt to literally the 50, and then, Mahomes ended up running it in. Roughing the passer call happened, and the rest is history. But I truly feel bad for Joseph Asai. It's tough in those situations, when you pretty much are the player that costed the game for your team. But I mean, stuff happens like that. Stuff happens. It is a game. Going to the Super Bowl is one of the biggest stages in sports to begin with, which is obviously why he was so upset. Never mind just being a playoff game, but I mean, I can't even imagine being the guy on the team who pretty much costed the game or the chance to go to the Super Bowl for them. Yeah, and then we saw that 45-yard field goal by Harrison Butker, and that wrapped up the game. It was a good game, but like I said, the officials can do better than that, and I hope that they recognize that and understand that yeah they can definitely do better than that as well. I guess looking at the NFC, the Eagles 49ers game, I mean like in both of the games, to be honest, like you had a lot of guys hurt, right? Brock Purdy ended up getting hurt on the fumble. His wrist snapped back. Even in the AFC game, Mahomes was hurt the entire time on his bad ankle. He had a high ankle sprain. Kelsey came into the game hurt. I think it was his back. You know, just big guys in big moments hurt. But you know, obviously the Chiefs made it through. But you look at a guy like Brock Purdy. Obviously Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't play. He's hurt. But Brock Purdy is now their QB1. And I believe he got hurt in like the first quarter. And who they put in? Josh Johnson. I mean, what are you going to do against the Eagles? Just you got to hope for your defense at that point. But obviously the Eagles ran through their defense. And that surprised me a lot too because the 49ers are the number one defense in the league. And the Eagles still dropped 30 on them. It was a 31-7 game. And I mean, the Eagles are flying over to the Super Bowl. What can I say? But yeah, you have guys like Brock Purdy getting hurt. We saw the frustration out of George Kittle after the game. He was upset. I mean, I think he quote unquote said, you know, like, obviously I'm upset, you know, like, what am I supposed to do when I don't have a quarterback? And I mean, like, he's right. I mean, you got obviously no Garoppolo, like I said. Brock Purdy's now out for the game, hurt. But I think he did return. Purdy returned, but obviously nothing ever happened there. I think McCaffrey ran it in for a 23-yard touchdown at one point, but overall, it was just a blowout game. Honestly, I wish it was closer. I thought it was going to be a much closer. I thought it was going to be like something like a 27-23 game, 31-28 game, but it was a blowout. Like I said, Eagles are going to the Super Bowl. They're playing the Chiefs in the Super Bowl on February 12th in Arizona. It's weird because when I look at this game, there's always someone who I really like think's gonna win. Like last year with the Rams and the Bengals, I wanted the Bengals to win, right? But I had the Rams winning, and obviously the Rams won. Yeah, because I mean, number one, the Rams were both teams were very good last year, but the Rams were also in their home stadium, which is just only adds on to it, helps them a lot, gives them the momentum. I mean, you look at Brady a couple of years ago when the Super Bowl was in Tampa Bay and he played the Chiefs. I mean, like, what are you going to do at that point? It's pretty much light work. I mean, you got your fan base around you. There's obviously going to be Chiefs fans there. There's obviously going to be Bengals fans there like last year. But when you're playing a Super Bowl in your home stadium, it's different. It's like you can't lose that game. And if you do it sucks. But yeah, Chiefs Eagles, like I said, I really think this game could go either way. Who I really don't even want both these teams to win it all. Last time the Eagles won the Super Bowl was against the Patriots. Last time the Chiefs won was against the 49ers. I mean, I'm just getting kind of sick of, you know, watching the Chiefs make it far every single year. And I know I can't really say that because I'm a Patriots fan. Like, it was the same vice versa for us, too. We were going to the Super Bowl AFC Championship every year. But, I mean, I don't know. I truly believe that Joe Burrow and Mahomes are top two quarterbacks in the league. In the Super Bowl, my prediction, I'm going to go with the Eagles winning the Super Bowl. I mean, again, like I said, you have Mahomes. He's still not well. I saw reporters after the game say that, like, you know, some people thought he was all right in that game, but he was wobbling, could barely run. You know, he's trotting around. His ankle was killing him. He barely made it through that game, and I mean barely. Like, that run at the end of the game, he was on like one leg at that point. He got obviously the roughing the passer call, which put him into the Super Bowl. But I don't know, a hurt Mahomes a hurt quarterback in any situations is going to be tough for your team, especially going up against a great Eagles team. You know, Jalen Hurts on the other side. We saw A.J. Brown make a couple good plays after that frustration he showed against the Giants. But, yeah, I mean, I think the Eagles are going to pull through. But, again, like I said, it really can go both ways. I can see the Chiefs winning. I can see the Eagles winning. I mean, like I said, I don't have a preference. I don't care who wins. I'm not really excited for this game, to be honest. Last year's was exciting. It's truly all right. It's different for everybody because if you have a team in the Super Bowl that you want to win, obviously it's going to be more exciting. But like the Chiefs and the Eagles, we've seen the Chiefs make it in the past. I guess if I was to pick a team that I want to win, it would be the Eagles. I think the Eagles are hungrier. They want it more. Obviously, the Chiefs have been here. The Eagles have too, but a guy like Jalen Hurts making it to the Super Bowl for the very first time, it's like I think they want it more. I think they want it more than anything. I don't know. The pretty cool thing is too is that the Kelsey brothers are going up against each other. You know, you got Jason Kelsey on the Eagles. You got Travis Kelsey on the Chiefs. They're going at it. I think it's the first time ever that two brothers have played against each other in a Super Bowl, which is pretty crazy. You know, obviously it's going to be, I don't know. I want to see the tensions in that game. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see if it's really brotherly love, right? Like Philly, but it's going to be a good game. I hope it's not like a defensive game like we saw a couple of years ago, you know, when the Rams played the Patriots. But, I mean, you got two of the best quarterbacks in the league, Jalen Hurts, Mahomes. Like I said, I got Burrow and Mahomes being the top two. I'd take Burrow and Mahomes over Jalen Hurts any day. That's just my opinion. But yeah, it's going to be a great game. Like I said, Sunday, February 12th. Not next week. It's always 2 weeks after the championship games. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a game. I hope it's fun. Hope it's interesting to watch. Hopefully those commercials are getting good. I don't know how the commercials are doing. I feel like, honestly, the commercials used to be much better in the Super Bowl. I feel like they used to be much better in the Super Bowl, like 10 years ago than they are now. I feel like they just, half the commercials aren't even like entertaining or funny now. Same with the halftime shows. I remember last year's halftime show was actually good, though. What was it? Dr. Dre, Snoop, all those guys. This year, I think it's Rihanna. Who knows how that's going to go? Could be a hit or miss. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. The only real way I see the Eagles losing this Super Bowl game is if Jalen Hurts folds in the spotlight at the biggest stage. You know, it's his first time. Mahomes has been here. Not his first rodeo. It's Jalen Hurts' first rodeo. But yeah, I don't know. If Jalen Hurts folds, which I don't think he will, but if he does, obviously the Chiefs most likely will take it. And yeah, I mean, I just don't want to see Mahomes walk out with the Super Bowl. I like Mahomes. Great player, great quarterback. One of the best. I don't know. It's time to give some young guys, you know, who knows what the script is, right? The Eagles might have it. The Eagles might have it. I saw some guy on Twitter. He like predicted the next 10 Super Bowls starting in 2015, I think goes up to 2025. He has them all right now. And his prediction for this year was the Eagles. So if he gets that right, I think that'll be like what? That's 7 years in a row possibly. And then I think for the next 3, he's got the Bills, the Jaguars, which is, I don't know about that one. And then the Bengals, which 2 out of the 3. Bills and Bengals, I don't know about the Bills, actually. You know, the Bills always choke in the playoffs, but the Bengals definitely for sure. Jaguars, I'm not sure about that one. And then the Bills, I mean, yeah, I don't know. That's a hit or miss. But yeah, if this guy predicts 10 years in a row of Super Bowls, I'm going to get suspicious. It sounds suspicious to me. I think the NFL might be scripted. You never know. But yeah, Super Bowl 2 weeks from now, or 2 weeks from yesterday, February 12th in Arizona. What am I saying? Chiefs, Eagles. Hopefully it's a good game. That's all we can ask for as fans, you know. Hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully the officiating as well. And yeah, go Eagles. I mean, I think they're going to take it. All right, moving over to a little bit of college football, though, too. Obviously, we saw the national championship recently between Georgia and TCU. You know, Stetson Bennett leading Georgia back-to-back years. in the national championship and winning. And a report came out the other day that he was arrested for public intoxication. That's what the police reported. And that's going to affect him big time. I mean, the guy is 25 years old, too. Like, the guy was playing college he won 2 national championships at the age of 24 and 25. Like, the guy shouldn't even be in college football, but yeah, he was arrested for public intoxication. I think he recently was invited to the Super Bowl, but declined that. I think he declined his Super Bowl invite before he got arrested or before all the news came out, just so like, obviously, if he has this case on him right now, he doesn't want to go out in public. He'd probably get a lot of hate for it, which he should. I mean, you look at a guy so innocent, right? Oh, yeah, big guy just wins a national championship. Boom. Right after that, plays junkie and gets arrested. So, I mean, that's just a small topic. Who knows how that's going to go from here? That doesn't look good for him and his future at all. I don't know what his hopes are, but you definitely don't want to be in that position right after you win 2 national championships like that. Getting arrested. That shows that you're a great person on the field, but off the field, like, who are you as a person? Who are you as an individual at that point? But yeah, that's just a small topic. That's kind of the news for football right now. We're going to move on to boxing because there was some very big news that just came out on Friday. Finally, we have it. We see Jake Paul squaring up against Tommy Fury, February 26th, a Sunday. I don't know why they're doing a Sunday, but it's in Saudi Arabia. So that means that not only it's going to be on a Sunday, but we're going to be watching Jake Paul and Tommy Fury fight at what? 4 p.m., which is going to be weird for sure. But honestly, I'm just glad it's happening. I mean, you never know with Tommy Fury, though. Is it still going to happen, right? Like, the guy's pulled out 2 times against Jake. He actually just had a baby girl, I think. You never know with this guy. He's all talk, but once the pressure comes in, once that week comes, once fight week comes, he always pulls out for some reason. I think the first time, he broke a rib. He got injured, couldn't play, or couldn't fight. And then the second time, there was no access into the U.S. or something like that. So that's 2 times he pulled out. So obviously Jake, the only way Jake would ever fight him is outside of the U.S. So they're fighting in Saudi Arabia, February 26th. My prediction, I think it's an 8-round bout. I don't think it's going to go the distance. I got Jake sleeping Tommy Fury in round 3. I think it's going to end pretty quick. I don't think Tommy's prepared for it. I think Tommy thinks that he's just much bigger than Jake. The big part about this fight, too, is that they're both undefeated. I think Tommy's 8-0, Jake's 6-0. I think they both got 4 KOs as well. So this is where it's going to be very interesting. Who's gonna lose their 0, right? Who's going to become defeated for the first time? And it's big, too. Because, I mean, if Jake loses, will he fight KSI down the line? Jake has a lot to lose right now, right? If he loses at any point, it's like that. People will just start to think that's the end of Jake Paul's boxing career. Tommy Fury, if he loses to Jake Paul, a YouTuber, a Disney kid, this and that, his family is his brother Tyson Fury, his dad, John Fury, pretty much said they're going to disown the kid and leave him in Saudi Arabia, which I think is absolutely hilarious. They think that Tommy's going to chin Jake. They think that he's going to knock him out. But overall, I love Tyson Fury. The guy's pumped up for both of them. He loves the drama, loves the tension, loves all that stuff. It's about boxing. It's about promoting and selling the event. But I think it's going to be a short night for Tommy. I think he's going to get slept. But let's hope that he doesn't pull out of the fight before the fight even happens. Because, dude, if this guy pulls out of a fight for 3 times against Jake, like, that is officially, you're done. You will never fight Jake. I'm surprised Jake's even giving Tommy a chance right now for the 3rd time. But, I mean, I just hope the fight goes through. I think they had the press conference yesterday. They met in the ring face to face. It got a bit heated, and then after that, I think they were supposed to have like a sit down face to face, like right in front of each other, and Tommy didn't show up. Shocker, right? But I mean, what are you gonna expect from a guy like this? Guy's a fool. I mean, he was on Love Island. He found his wife on Love Island. Like, although Jake was on Disney Channel as well, but I'd probably rather be on Disney Channel than Love Island, dude. You know? I mean, Tommy Fury, I think he's done February 26th. And I think KSI said that, he wants the winner of Jake versus Tommy. If Tommy sleeps Jake, he'll fight Tommy. Obviously, if Jake wins, he'll fight Jake. But I don't know why this KSI dude just randomly gets the winner when this guy's just fought bums. Like, the dude's, 4-0, but he's fought a guy who plays Call of Duty, a fat rapper, and, like, a professional boxer. But the guy was scared to even be hit, so I don't even know if that considers yourself a professional boxer. But we all know how that's going to go. If Jake fights KSI, it's over for KSI. But yeah, I think it's funny, touching back on the topic about Tommy being disowned, and I think they even said too that Tyson Fury and his dad John Fury even said that they'll no longer accept Tommy to have the last name Fury because that'll just be a disgrace if he loses to Jake Paul. He'll lose that name, they'll completely disown him, and that'll be it for Tommy Fury within the Fury family, which is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. Now, news came out the other day as well that if Jake Paul ends up losing, there is a rematch clause in effect, which means that there will automatically be a rematch between the two fighters, Jake and Tommy, probably scheduled later in the year. And yeah, we'll see that. But like I said, I don't see Jake losing this fight. I think Jake trains way harder than Tommy. Although Tommy's been fighting longer than Jake. I think today's actually the 3-year anniversary of Jake's boxing career, but yeah, I don't know. I don't see Tommy winning. I think Tommy's too slow. I think Jake's quicker. Jake's got better stamina. Just stuff like that will allow you to win a boxing match. Like I said, Jake's knocking Tommy out in round 3. That's my prediction for the fight. Honestly, this is going to be the best fight I think we've seen out of Jake. The Woodley fight was a very tough opponent. Obviously, Anderson Silva was a very tough opponent, but this is I think this fight's going to be way more heated than anything. I think they're going to show a lot of frustration in the ring. I think Tommy's probably going to show a lot more frustration than Jake, obviously. I don't know. It's personal to both. Families are on the line. Like I previously said, like this is crazy. The careers are on the line. I think we're going to see a lot of frustration, a lot of tension in the ring rather than skill come February 26th. I'm ready for it. I know a lot of people out there are ready for it. Jake Paul, Tommy Fury, February 6th. Hopefully it sticks through, dude. If this guy pulls out, I'm going to lose it. I'm absolutely going to lose it if this guy pulls out of the fight. That guy should just end his boxing career if he pulls out. But yeah, that fight's going to be golden. It's going to be good. I think Jake's fighting 3 times this year. Like I said, I think I said that in a couple other podcasts ago. But yeah, it's a big year for Jake. Big year for Tommy as well. So that's the boxing news. That's the big boxing news that we saw. And now, like I said at the beginning of the podcast, there was a big missed call the other night during the Lakers-Celtics game. Obviously, me being a Celtics fan, I got to admit, it was a horrible call, right? It was a tie game, 105-105. Lakers had the ball with about 4.5 seconds to play. LeBron drove to the basket, laid it up. Tatum completely slapped him on the wrist. No call. LeBron threw an absolute temper tantrum. I've never seen anything like it in my life. The guy was freaking out. He got on his knees, put his head on the court. He looked like he just won his 5th NBA championship. That's how bad this was. The guy was freaking out. He's a mental case. Dude, the guy has issues. The guy, I would have freaked out if they missed a call on that as well. So would any other NBA player. But this guy, ran at his coaches, almost threw hands with his coaches, ran around the court, jumping up and down, crying pretty much, and then getting on his knees and just trying to soak in all the attention he possibly could. Yeah, it was a missed call. And the referees actually, the referee union actually came together and stated that they missed this call. They recognize that they missed this call. And they're actually fully ashamed that they missed this call. Because, it was a clear slap on the wrist. And the best thing about it is I think reporters asked Tatum and Brown after the game. They asked Jaylen Brown, and obviously all the players know. These players know that was a clear foul, right? But Jaylen Brown said something like, "Oh, I didn't get a good look on it." I think Jaylen Brown was right next to Tatum too, so he had to have had a good look at it. But I didn't get a good look at it. Sometimes the refs miss them, but I'm good with the win. And I was like, damn, he had to have seen that it was a foul, but a win's a win. We'll take it. Tatum was asked the same question after the game too. I think Tatum said something like, the last 2 minutes of overtime, the last 2 minutes of the game were an absolute blur. But I'll take the win as well. So No real comment from the two of them on that. I think LeBron last night, I saw on Instagram an Instagram post. Like this, when was this? This game was 2 nights ago. He posted this last night, and was the replay of Tatum fouling LeBron, and LeBron just added Tatum, and he was like, good block, Tatum, and Tatum reposted it. Like good block being sarcastic because obviously he fouled him. Tatum reposted it and was like, said something again like this game was a blur, but good game though, and just like shook hands. But it's just funny. LeBron still butthurt over it. Obviously, we know it was a missed call. It was a very bad missed call. I'm very surprised they didn't call it. Obviously, they couldn't challenge it because I think it was inside the last 2 minutes or the Lakers already lost their challenge. But yeah, it was a horrible call. Honestly, I was laughing. I was laughing my ass off seeing LeBron just throw a fit and whine and cry. It's always funny. The guy always complains to the refs, always looks for attention. Obviously, he had a reason to this time, but it was just so funny to see him do this. And Celtics came up with the win in overtime, so we'll take that. We'll take that win. Jaylen Brown had 37 points. Tatum had 30. I think LeBron had 41. Obviously, LeBron, I think the reason he was so upset more so is because it was against the Celtics. It's a rivals game in Boston. And I think I saw a podcast a long time ago, too, of LeBron saying that, or he was asked, what's your favorite opposing stadium to play in? He said Boston. And we take that personally, right? We want LeBron to come in. We want to destroy the Lakers every single time they come in. And it was a good game. Very good game down to the wire. Celtics played very sloppy, too. It wasn't a good game. But we came back and won. So we'll take that OT win. A win's a win. We'll take it, right? LeBron, still upset, still butthurt. But we move on. Celtics have the best record in the league. We're the best team in the league. We're not gonna look on the past and be like LeBron and hold grudges, right? Again, looking at the NBA coming up, obviously, I think the trade deadline's coming up. We also have the NBA All-Star game that's taking place in Utah this year. I don't know why Utah. That sounds like a horrible location for an All-Star game, to be honest. I don't know why they don't have it in Boston. When was the last time the NBA All-Star game was in Boston? I don't even know. I can't even recall. I feel like it's been in Chicago a couple times, LA a couple times, but never Boston. That would be electric. I would go to that game for sure. You look at the East and the West starters actually just came out. We got the East right here. We got Tatum, of course. Of course, we got Tatum. Kyrie, KD, both on the Nets. Then we got Giannis, and then we got Donovan Mitchell. But it really doesn't matter in terms of the starters. Obviously, you're starting, but it's not East versus West, right? It's the draft. And then you have the West starters. You got LeBron, Zion, Jokic, Steph, and Luka. A lot of people say that Embiid got cut from the East. He got snubbed, all these guys. I think the West starters are well done. I haven't really seen Zion play this year a lot to know how well he's done, but he's been hurt most of his career so far, and it's good to see him actually get that role in the starting position. Now, they're doing apparently like a new draft this year. They usually go on air. I think it's usually like they zoom into TNT and they do like an online draft. It's usually, obviously, LeBron's been a captain of the All-Star team every single year. Like I stated in, I think, the first episode, it's time to mix it up. Tatum should be over LeBron right now. Or even Tatum should be over Giannis right now for a captain. But I don't think they respect Tatum that much. He hasn't gained the respect he deserves yet. But yeah, the new draft rules are right before the game, which is super interesting. Right? So essentially, what confuses me is that obviously they got to wear different jerseys, right? But if they're getting drafted right before the game, these players don't even know who they're playing with, don't even know what the chemistry is going to be like, can't really prepare to play with any of these players, right? Because it's literally LeBron's, it's old school. It's like pickup ball. You have LeBron standing right there, you're going to have Giannis standing right there, and they're just going to draft players. Obviously, the starters and all the reserves as well, which I want to see Jaylen Brown. He's got to be a reserve. I think he is already, but yeah, they're just going to be drafting players before the game, which is super interesting. I kind of like that new format. Because it's like you got to prepare right on the spot. This is my team. That's who I'm going against, right? It's gonna be pretty cool to see how that plays out, that draft. But yeah, captains are LeBron and Giannis. Like, what's new? I think Giannis and LeBron have been captains 3 times already. Steph's been a captain. I think KD, it was KD versus Braun last year. Yeah. KD is a starter. Like I said, he is hurt. I think the guy gets hurt every single All-Star break, which is, I don't understand that. But I think he will play. He says he wants to play. It's going to be a good game out in Utah. Said that's just a weird location. I don't know how many people are going to pull up to that place in Utah. It's the middle of nowhere. Obviously, it's going to get a good crowd, but Utah is just a weird location. But the All-Star game's coming up. Trade deadline's coming up in the NBA. Big changes might be coming. I want to see the Celtics stay the same right now with their team. I think they have a really good core. Couple injuries going on right now. We got Smarts out. Brogdon's been playing. He put up 24 points the other night, too. I think that's the type of player. You look at Malcolm Brogdon, doesn't gain the respect, the recognition he deserves as well. 24 points, and he pretty much locked down Anthony Davis that entire game against the Lakers. It's crazy. Him, Tatum, and Jaylen Brown almost combined for what? 100 points? Which is absolutely crazy between three players. But yeah, Celtics are rolling. We don't play till Wednesday against the Nets. I think we've played a couple more games than like every other team in the NBA, so we got to have that little rest, little break. But we got a big stretch coming up before the All-Star break. We got the Nets, I think. We got the Sixers at one point, the Grizzlies, the Suns. So a lot of good teams. We got to keep it going. We just came off a 3-game losing streak, but we got to keep it going. We got to get some wins, head into the All-Star break with some momentum, and then eventually the playoffs are going to be here before we know it. I think that's everything we got today. This is going to be episode 3. Like I said, it's going to premiere tonight, Monday, January 30th. I'll probably do like a 7 or 8 p.m. premiere. You guys see this? Hit that like button, subscribed. We appreciate it. We're going to be doing another podcast. Hopefully on Friday, we'll get that uploaded as well. And then eventually, like I know I say it a lot, we're going to be getting guests on here. We just got to find the right one. It's tough to work around other people's schedules, especially mine as well. I got to figure out my schedule before I, rely on someone else to come on the podcast with me and work through their schedule as well. So, yeah, thank you guys for watching. It's been a ride. We're back. Feels good to be back after 2 weeks. This is episode 3. It's only up from here. Let's go. Appreciate you guys watching. Take it easy. Peace.